The Retro World Award goes to...
How are you feeling? John Riggs here. Just got back from Nottingham in the UK, attended the Debug Indie Game Awards, and had the most wonderful time ever. I just took a bunch of pictures and videos, so in a very ADD kind of way, I'm just going to showcase everything that just happened. My journey started super early at the Tri-Cities airport. It's not my local Yakima airport. For this one, I had to go Tri-Cities because Delta flies direct to the UK. Unfortunately, Alaska Airlines does not, and last time I flew Alaska, it turned into American Airlines, and American Airlines is the not so great, so I just opted for Delta this time around. On my flight there, I watched a few movies, but I also played a lot of this Find the Hidden game called Hidden in Time 2. This is the sequel, just came out a little bit ago, playing that on the Nintendo Switch. Had a layover in Seattle. This is a $15 pizza, was what we'll get you at a Seattle airport. It wasn't great, but it was definitely edible. After about an 8.5 hour, 9 hour flight, we started to see land. Oh, it's London. I miss this. I miss the UK. It kind of has a nice thing too. Like you kind of fly over the UK and then go towards where London Heathrow is. So just looking out the window, you could see just those familiar rows of houses and stuff. I love it. Quick look out the window here. This is our window in Nottingham now. When we landed in London Heathrow, a buddy of mine, Nate, the guy who made Doodle World, him and I took an Uber. Uber works in the UK all the same app and everything, to Nottingham. Took about 2.5, 3 hours drive or something like that. Walking down the road, I found a Greg's almost immediately. Sausage rolls I am addicted to, so I was able to grab my sausage roll and my steak bake. Super happy here that I get my legit sausage roll from Greg's. I love it, love it, love it. And Nottingham is such a cool town. I didn't know what to expect when I got there. But, I mean, it's the kind of place where, unlike the United States, in Nottingham, they said, okay, yeah, that's a 5-minute walk, 10-minute drive, just because it's just easier to get around just by walking everywhere. But so many cool little shops and eclectic stores and everything. Immediately stopped by a pub later that night. This is a perfect pour. Look how tall these pours are here. There's a UK IPA kind of sort here. The town square was certainly popping. They had, there was going to be a light show that weekend, and they were showing some of the lights on the Capitol building here. Some hearts, that was kind of fun. We started to walk towards Nottingham Castle, and there was this kiddie cafe, so I had to take a photo of this too. And though it was closed for tourism for the night, you could still at least go up to like the gate, right? So we definitely stopped by the gate area of Nottingham Castle. Because it's so cool to see, like in real life, just to see for yourself. But the real reason we're coming here was not to storm the castle, but we're going to this place called Ye Old Trip to Jerusalem, the oldest inn in England since 1189. Since 1189, there's Nate there, and me too. And we're going to have some food and some drinks at this place in a kind of literal cave underneath Nottingham Castle here, or where the castle was or something like that. The beer was great. The people were amazing. This is the first room we were kind of in. You can see that up that hole. They would basically bring beer up to the castle up there. But now it's just kind of, modified and everything. We had this, which, forgot what it was. It was delicious, though. I do love my meat pie, so I got the meat pie with the chips, of course. We call them fries here, but it was chips there. And while we were here, we started being joined by other people, like Andrew and Mike and Dan, all from Debug. Game Mistress stopped by a little bit later, a lot of their friends, too. We got Mags, middle-aged gamer guy. He's always super cool. Yeah, it was cool to hang out with these people again. And then on the trip back, I just love the architecture. I just love how these Nottingham streets look. Breakfast the day of the show, the hotel we stayed in had a full English breakfast, buffet style. Fun statue just in Nottingham. I don't know. I'm sure it represented something, but I just thought it was cool. And again, just how the roads look, how the streets look, how these buildings look. It looks like something out of like a 3D puzzle or like a storybook or something like that. Just absolutely cool. Yeah, this one particularly. I was just like, so cool. Hey, so we found out there's a couple of game stores that we can visit. So now we're joined by my buddy Alistair, who also helped me make Choo Choo Mimic. So I found a place called Game.co.uk. Game. It's basically like GameStop. It's like one-to-one similar to GameStop. Even has toys on the inside like the Masters of the Universe, Castle Grayskull in the box and everything. But when you look around, you're like, yeah, I've seen GameStops like this. So pretty cool to see, though. And then even on some of the shelves here, a lot of Evercade support. Got all of the Evercade stuff. Indie Heroes 2 has Yeah Yeah Beavis 2, and Indie Heroes 3 will have Choo Choo Mimic, so something to keep in mind. We even had the Amiga Mini. That's right, the A500 Mini. I was tempted to grab this just because I don't see it on the shelf. I didn't have an Amiga growing up for every reason, but super cool. I mean, in retrospect, yeah, maybe I should have grabbed it, but I'm all right. Got some more love from Atari, and even the Replicades are pretty cool to see here, just right on the floor. And, you know, just like a GameStop, big old rack of, you know, PlayStation 5 games. It'd be kind of cool if they had a UK exclusive for WWE 2K, you know, the 2K games, where you could play as Big Daddy. UK exclusive. Yeah, some more games, and even the cool stuff that they have like for drinks in the shop, and you know, whatever. We really went to this mall though because we heard there's a CEX here. Now CEX may be a little bit more of a selection than a game. The original CEX that we went to was supposed to be open, but the person with the keys wasn't there yet. One of the other employees was there, and he's like, oh, well, there's one in the mall here. So we went to the mall to check this out. Fun to see. Again, not exactly what we were looking for. You know, decent-ish selection, and there is some retro games. Not as many retro games as I would have liked to have seen. But there is a few, so you know, gotta satisfy that all the same. I don't know if I've ever seen this color of GameCube controller. I just think it looks super cool. You know, a few more PlayStation games down the way. There was a Fight for New York for £30 only. That's right. I mean, it's a UK, the UK version. It will not play on your US PlayStation 2. You gotta have a UK or modded, you know, something or other. But to see it for only £30, what a deal on that, right? I just love the label arts of some of these games too. Just looking through, like, you know, some of the PSP games here as well. Just kind of see what there is. And then Alistair was telling us that, you know, they had Action Man. This is Action Adam. It's Action Man.
Is that a UK thing?
It is. That's not.
Yes, I've never heard of that in the US.
Yeah.
Action Adam. Action Adam. I see.
Over here, it's Barbie and Action Man.
Oh, okay.
So that's your GI Joe. Basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good old TNA Impact. Only £1. That's it. It's like $1. You know, a few DVDs. Got Link's Crossbow Training. I remember that one. That's is that Sega? Oh, that is cool. I had to walk up here to actually read what it said. Oh, look at this box art. How beautiful. Cover. Resident Evil 4. Come on now. I love it. Love seeing the UK DS games too, because the DS cases were pretty thick compared to the games, the cases that we had. We had, like, you know, their 3DS cases were the same, but yeah, their DS cases were pretty thick. You know, just no big deal. Just a Chaos Flying Squadron here for only £175. For your Mega CD. Fun to see the Starwing as well. Starwing, not Star Fox. Don't call it Star Fox now. A little Spirited Away, something or other. Looked pretty cool. This was at a Nottingham art gallery too. We're heading back to the castle now, and they had this. There's a couple of art galleries in Nottingham, and I just saw this on the outside. You know, had to take a photo of it really quick. All right, back to the other CEX. Don't worry about those guys out front. That's just a thing here. We very similar. Pretty similar to see, you know, just kind of what they have. Again, some, you know, fancy GameCubes and, you know, other, you know, retro game style stuffs here. No worries, just, you know, seeing what all there is on these shelves over here too. Didn't take anything home, didn't buy anything, but cool to see. All right, so I only have like about an hour and a half or so before I have to go to the Metrodome to set up for Debug U, as well as the Debug Indie Awards show here. So we're going to check out Nottingham. They're finally open now. We're going to be open here. And just looks gorgeous in the daytime too. A little rainy this day, but you know, nothing we haven't experienced before. Little shot there. There's Robin Hood right down there as well. And this is just like the front gate. This is just like the front entrance waiting for them to open. Just kind of looking out over the balcony here. Kind of fun. And on the inside, there's a lot of just museum-y stuff. Like here's a kind of display diorama thingy of what it was like maybe back in those days. To see what it looks like and everything. This was pretty cool, whatever it was supposed to be. They even had a little virtual, you know, sticking. I don't know what this game is called or whatever. You got to use the bow staff here. So, I mean, again, very interactive, very fun, very educational, kind of fun. It was a little wonky. I mean, it was like worse than Wii motion controls, but still it kind of worked. And then this thing here, which totally reminded me of like the 4-player like Pac-Man or something. But I don't know, there's some people over here playing it. What a cool area for kids to play in over here too. But yeah, this kids play area was just so cool. Looking beyond always looked cool too. Up here, up on the hill, you can like look down, you can kind of get a better view for like what Nottingham like, you know, looks like residential style. And we were kind of in the downtown area, but just like residential Nottingham is just, it is gorgeous. I love this look, right? Back to the castle, here's more of this. It was cool, like when you go inside, yeah, you know, pretty modernized, but then sometimes part of the wall would be missing, and then there's like a piece of the original wall, like the brick and whatever. Yeah, I wish I could have stayed here a lot longer. Right, so back at the Metronome now. This is where Debug U is happening. Before the award show, we have these tables and monitors and our games set up for people to play them, and then they'll be up for awards later, and more awards too. Not all the games are featured here, but you know, it was a reason for me to come and hang out, and of course I brought my Reese's peanut butter cups just as a draw. It's like, hey, since you're here, play the thing. Alistair was super cool too. He does these like resin 3D printing things, so he made little 3D prints of the characters from Choo Choo Mimic, including the 4 different knights, the treasure chest closed, and then the Mimic as well. And then here's my little setup. I wasn't really, like, you don't really intend to sell things here, but every once in a while somebody does want to buy one. So I brought a few, I brought a handful. And if you need one for yourself, you can check out my website. But while we're here, that's right. Nate, the monitors didn't quite have screws in them yet, and one time the screen fell and landed on his controller, so it totally like broke the TV. Yeah. Sorry. But it was so cool to see like other people play the game too, and how they, you know, it's funny, they do the same thing I do, where you literally use your finger over the screen to kind of say, well, if this goes here, then that goes there, then this goes here. Want to check out some of these other games too, like the Sirena Expedition. This one so looks like a PlayStation 1 game. I can't wait to play more of this game. And it just looks, you know, like I said, like a PlayStation 1 game. How cool is that? Flea 2 on display. Now my buddy Alistair, who also helped me make Choo Choo Mimic, is also making Flea 2. So we had our tables right next to each other, which was perfect. So he could also answer questions and talk and chat. And it's always fun to hang out with Alistair. Definitely hang out with him if you happen to be at the same convention he's at. Alistair, along with Flea 2, was also showing off that projection picture book thing that he's been working on for the last little while here. It's just so insanely creative. Full Void, if you loved games like Out of This World or Another World, you know, or like Flashback, you're going to love Full Void. It's just like that. Available, it's the only game that's available on its own cart for Evercade, which tells you how awesome it is. But look out for Full Void, all right? Some people playing Doodle World as well. It's funny, Nate was telling me he only brought like 10 copies as a just in case. Sold all 10 of them at this event. I didn't sell all my games. But he sold all of his, which tells you how awesome Doodle World is. Interesting to see that, you know, somebody playing Full Void, Doodle World, yeah, you know, Flea 2 and all that, and nobody playing my game. It's all good. People did show up and start playing the game, though, and it was just fun to see, again, like I said, just cool to see people playing the game and enjoying it, and that's all we're asking for. We want people to play these games, you know, not with no intention to buy them. Just play them and let us know let us know what you think. It's a great way to test out games before they go to market. This game is called Bullion. I thought it was kind of fun. It was kind of like a 4-player party game, battle game. 4 players simultaneous, great couch co-op. You know, it's super, super fun. Might be something to look out for when you're looking out for games, I suppose. Phoenix Springs, the name of this game that Gaming Mistress is playing right here. I just thought it looked pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to play this one, but cool to see. Hair of the Dog, it's another one I've heard of. Point and click style game. If you like that Thimbleweed Park, Monkey Island, I think you're going to really like this game. I'm looking forward to playing the full version of this too. Evercade was on display. Could have seen all the Evercade games that were available. Choo Choo Mimic was also available on this, because Choo Choo Mimic is available on Indie Heroes 3, which is coming at the end of February. My buddy Quang was here with Defuse. I love Quang. He has such cool stuff. Only Quang would have a setup like this to play a Game Boy game. Right? Fun game, though. Oh, and unbeknownst to me, since I was there, they're like, hey, you got a talk coming up. I was like, oh, do I? Okay, I can talk. The cool thing was, these talking presentations, you could pretty much say whatever you want, and you had 10 minutes. So you weren't like bogging everyone else's time. Somebody's still trying to figure out this Choo Choo Mimic game. I love it. See, it's the best thing. 100 levels, by all means. And then, of course, just the sheer joy when they pass these stages. So cool. More games on display. Territorial was another one that people were checking out. I think it looks pretty cool. And while this was going on, projected onto the screen was also those 10-minute talks I was just talking about. So here's Alistair talking about, you know, a little bit behind the scenes on how he was making his games and everything. I thought that was super cool. VR on display. I do love me some VR, and the good people from C-Smash VRS were there right there to answer your questions or demo their game or everything. Very, very cool game. They had a PlayStation VR 2 to check this game out. They had a little cafe diner-esque area as part of this convention hall. Literally a cheese and butter sandwich.
It's literally cheese and butter on white bread. I love it.
And again, just a super small, humble cast of people just hanging out playing these games. It wasn't this huge convention. It wasn't this huge ordeal. It didn't need to be. Cool people hanging out, checking out these games. But really quickly, some more games here. Berserk Boy. Look out for Berserk Boy. Plays like Mega Man X. T. Lopes did the music. what more do you need to know? You got to check this game out. It's amazing. Antstream was there. Antstream's kind of a cool service where you can play online. There's arcade, consoles of every type, and Choo Choo Mimic is one of the games on Antstream. So if you have the Antstream service, you can play Choo Choo Mimic. And here's more of Quang's game here, Defuse. Here's somebody playing it. You know, more of the projection picture game here. Yeah, it's projecting the game, and when you change the pages, you know, other things happen too. There was a bit of a break between Debug U and the actual award show, so we decided to go to this place called Pit and Pendulum. Pit and Pendulum. If you're in Nottingham, go to Pit and Pendulum. Cool, cool bar, great food. I got another meat pie. I love my steak and ale pie. Got my chips and everything. Also had the bangers and mash. They called it something that wasn't bangers and mash, but it was totally that. It was just sausages and mashed potatoes. But man, when in doubt, gravy on everything, kind sir. And this, again, this place was playing metal. The food was great. The drinks were great. And the bathrooms, I couldn't find the bathrooms for a while. And they're like, oh, it's behind the bookcase. Oh boy. Hidden door. And of course, that's right when like some girls walking by, making me extra creepy. But yeah, Pit and Pendulum in Nottingham. If you happen to be there, check that place out. All right, it is time for the Debug Indie Game Awards. I'm just happy to be there. I'm not even expecting to win. I'm just happy to cheer and applaud those and just to hang out and be a part of the first ever one of these things. Look at me in my suit. Come on now. I know I need to lose a few pounds, but I'm looking good. Before the awards, they're showing some trailers for other indie games, which is always kind of cool to see too. Starting to fill up a little bit. Not a very big auditorium, but you know, plenty of people there. So super happy to be here. And finally, it's time for the award I'm in for the Retro World Award as part of the Debug Indie Game Awards. And we'll just take it from here.
Retro is a term that's fascinating to me because it seems to have technological obsolescence built into it. You know, we don't read retro books or watch retro movies or read retro poems. And yet somehow that's a term we've used for games. And what is fascinating about this category is that the term retro is not attached to the games, but to the technology that they're running on. It's the consoles and the tech that's aging, but art is forever. And it is quite exciting to me that these talented developers are making games for systems that are thought obsolete, because indeed, in the end, it's the tech that dies, but the art remains forever. So here are the nominees in the Retro World Award.
Choo Choo Mimic. Doodle World Redrawn. Driving Strikers. Mr. Run and Jump 2600.
Yay!
Skate Cat.
Yeah,
And Super Block'em Sock'em.
John Hancock.
Andrew. And the Retro World Award goes to Choo Choo Mimic.
How are we the first one for two people to come up on the stage? All right, yeah. That's weird. You want to go?
I could go. My buddy Alistair and I are so close that we sat on opposite ends of the auditorium too. I don't know if you noticed that or not. This is amazing, and thank you. And this, this is it accepted to all the NES homebrew makers, all retro console homebrew makers, still making it. Personally, want to thank my wife for putting up with all my late night editing hours and all that, and big thanks to you as well for oftentimes I would create new levels. We were working on the same program. I would erase over your old work, and it's like, oh, sorry, can you bring it back? Have to re-edit and all that too, and this is super cool, man. I got more to say too, but I'll think about it for a second.
Okay, yeah, no, I need to think what I was going to say, but yeah, we couldn't have done this without all the like homebrew community work. Like they laid the groundwork, and we just built on top of it. And just to thank the team specifically, because it's a really small team. Tui, Vincent Valgier, and France doing the audio, and Valdir Salguero over in Brazil for the code. Yeah, we definitely could have done without those two.
And it was crazy. What started as a quick tweet message to Alistair saying, you know what would be cool is we did this crazy idea game, and he was like, yeah, all right, we can do that. And then it turns out to us being on stage and everything too. So when the music stops, I think that's our cue to leave. But thanks again, and then big thanks to Debug as well for hosting this award. It brought me out to from the United States here to Nottingham for the first time. So. And didn't see nothing yet.
Yeah, work is good.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Choo Choo Mimic is a really, really fun, infuriating.
As you can clearly tell, I was not expecting to win, so I had literally nothing planned for a speech. Because I did not think I was going to win, but I am honored. So Alistair and I, there is more than one award. Now they have one award each, and then we're able to get a second award too. So in the meantime, I kept the award, he kept the envelope, and then he will be getting his second award. Because we're in the UK and he lives in Scotland, it'll be cheaper for them to send him the award, than shipping it to the United States. So I took the award home with me. But how cool is that? So now here's Choo Choo Mimic, and I'll have to put somewhere on there, like the Debug Indie Game Award winning Game of the Year, Choo Choo Mimic. Gotta love that. After Nottingham, I'm gonna catch an Uber back to London because we're flying out the next day. We stopped by a gas station, a Tesco. Tesco's are amazing. They have everything you need. I wish I could have bought those and brought them home with me. I wish I could have bought this and brought it home with me. How creepy does this look? I think it looks amazing. The thing is, though, you cannot bring meat back to the United States from the UK. I question that this is meat. However, to play it safe, I didn't grab any. But breakfast cereal, A-okay. So I brought back some breakfast cereal with me, Crunchy Nut Clusters, even that Cookie Crisp looking one, just to see if it's any better. I do love some Crunchy Nut, but they did have my Frosted Shreddies, so I grabbed a box of that too. Did you also know that they have white Cadbury cream eggs there? That's new this year. Stop by Cafe Concerto, or maybe it's Concerto Cafe, one of the two. I had my English cream tea service. I love it. All the little snackies and tea to go with it. Oh my goodness, I just love it all. I wish I could have had more room for more snacks, but I at least took these photos because everything looked amazing. It's interesting, we found another game inside of a sports store. It would be like if you walked into like a Macy's and then on the 6th floor there was a video game store. So it's like, oh, here's shoes, and then around the corner, all of a sudden, hey, ta-da, there's a video game store. I'm sure they're owned by the same company. But because best in the area, it's just more of GameStop stuff. So again, cool to see. Didn't need anything. That's just kind of fun. And it did give us a great window to look out of. This is Piccadilly Circus, they call it. There's a demonstration going on that day. And yeah, it's a long flight down. So cool to see the London nightlife while we're here. We're only in London just for the night because the next morning we're both flying out back to the United States. This store here sold nothing but tea. My kind of store. They sell nothing but tea. I do like tea. Good look at the London Eye there. Big Ben in the background. This is walking across the bridge here. Because we found like an amusement park or something on the other side. That London Eye, you can see it from everywhere, but you can definitely see it when it's like, up close. Great night in London, 10-hour flight back. Oh boy, yeah, big old flight back. And here it is. The Debug 2024 Indie Game Awards. This is the From Frame a Game, Debug, the Everyone Can, and Press Engine were also there. Very cool things, and the things that they do for everyone. Everyone Can is for accessibility, to make sure that everybody can play any kind of game. Safe in Our World really promotes like mental health in video games, which I think is a noble cause. And Press Engine is the type of website where you would go as a content creator and get codes, like review codes or preview codes to create content or stream or something to promote games that way. Just an easy way to do it. And then again, right down here, Choo Choo Mimic from Low Tech Games and Rigged Games. I always like second billing. I've always loved second billing. Low Tech Games did more with this than I did. I know this was my game, my concept, my idea. But even when I did like morning radio, I was just like, no, don't put me first. Have it be Risha and Riggs in the morning, or Rick and John in the morning, or whatever the morning show was. So, there you go. And this disc, from what I understand, is an AOL disc that they've repurposed, refurbished, whatever. As much as I love this, I'm going to put this somewhere else for now. And I'm not much, honestly, like, as you've noticed, not my shell shank. I'm honestly not much for showcasing awards. Like, I know what I got, I know what I won. And I do have a couple of awards. I have an award from a documentary I was in. I have a gold statue. Just in the other room. You know, I have the plaque from my Evercade game that they did that. I mean, I'm sure you've even noticed I don't hang up my YouTube plaque. Like when you get hit 100,000 subscribers and you get that silver play button. I think it's great. It's just in the closet, you know. It's just like, I know what I've done and I know what I've accomplished. I don't need to see it all the time. I know there's benefit to see, like, you know, like, you've done it. You've been there, you've done this, and if you can do this, you can do anything. I get that. But I already know. But this is very important to me. So I'm going to showcase this on my wall, at least for a while. There's like other stuff on my wall. Stuff comes and goes all the time. But that's super cool. And the fact that, you know, I won an award for a video game that was just kind of a harebrained idea. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if we made a game where you sympathize with the mimic and, you know, I don't know. It's just cool. Was this video super rambly? I hope it was, because that's my life. I had a great time. I hope I get a chance to return. I love the UK. It feels like home every time I go there. So I'm hoping to attend more video game conventions in the UK this year, next year, and beyond. If I had the means to have a residency in the UK, I 100% would. In the meantime, thank you. And thanks to Debug for hosting the Debug Indie Game Awards. This was the first year ever, and hopefully next year will be bigger and better, and I hope more and more people find out about it so they can submit their games for all the categories that are going on there, and also attend in person so you can you know, be a part of the festivities there. And it's in Nottingham. Nottingham's such a cool town. I mean, Robin Hood aside, that's all I knew from it from before that. But such a cool town. I can't wait to go back.